Hello my fellow gamers and welcome once again to Perafilozof's Banished Let's Plays. I'm going to continue playing my fishing village, regardless of the fact that I had that starvation a couple of videos back. I'm trying to get myself back in shape. I am slowly rebuilding my population. I'm now up to 46 adults, 12 of my children are in school as students, and 17 are just children. Now you may notice all these signs above my buildings, and mostly the ones above the housing, and it looks like I'm going to demolish these houses, where actually I'm not demolishing them, I'm just using that demolish sign over them to stop my villagers from living in those houses by themselves. Why? Because they seem to, when they live by themselves, want to hawk all the firewood and food they can find, regardless of the fact that they cannot eat it or spend it in a few years. But they love to push the limits of the inventory that can be fitted into one home. So for example, here I have a fisherman, a teacher and a child all living together, and for example they have 34 firewood and maybe 200 food. But then you will find a home where there will be only one person living in that home, if I have even left any homes that only one person can live at. Nope, I think I managed to stop them from living anywhere by themselves. But in any event, if I were to find a home where only one person lives at, they would have equal or even more resources than those three people living just in one house. And that is the problem of this game. When your old folks stop making babies and for example their spouses die, they will keep living in their home by themselves but still grabbing enough inventory to feed and warm up an entire 5-member family. That is why I try to keep the housing that's empty or could be empty suspended in this demolish mode, but without any builders that can actually demolish those buildings. Now, as I have cycled through these buildings, I have noticed that there are some children who are living at their parents' homes that they could start their new families if they only had somewhere to move. So I'm going to stop demolishing a few of these homes. And I'm going to stop demolishing them closer to their workplaces. For example, a lot of people could work at the quarry, the mine, over here as the hunters, the gatherers, the foresters, teacher, blacksmith, tailor, a vendor. So here in this part of the village I will stop demolishing these homes, and you will see very quickly that some of these villagers are gonna move in and find a spouse for themselves. Come on, happen already. A 79-year-old laborer seems to have moved in here, but none of these other ones have moved out of there. Oh right, they are students. I forgot about that. If they are above 10 years old, does not mean they can be an adult. They are students from age 10 to age 17. So I might have opened up that house too soon. Yeah, that was my bad. But I do have some students that are 16 years old. And this forester is living here by himself at 79. And you can see just how much food and firewood he is going to get for himself just by living by himself. And that's what's the main problem and the issue when you play Banished and you have a starvation, as I had a few videos back. But now I am very nice with food. 5,000 food. My fishing docks are probably producing, yep, around 900 in the last period, 1,100 in the last period. Over here 600, and this one over here 1,000. So yes, fishing docks can be very efficient if you have housing close to them so that the workers do not travel far to get warmed, and also a storage barn close by so that they can get some food and that they also can easily drop off the resources once they collect them, in this case the food, and that is the fish. But how am I with the other resources? I have plenty of tools, which is good. I don't want to have the same mistake that I had before, running out of tools, reducing productivity and losing food and creating starvation. I don't have a lot of coats, and that is something I should definitely remedy. As my population goes up, a single hunter creating around 26 leather per year is not going to be enough to supply a tailor with enough leather to create enough clothes to clothe my population. So what I need is another hunter. And I have noticed a lot of game both up here, down here, and up here. Now, as I do have this hunter over here covering this area, I may not want to use a hunter up here, but rather a hunter up here or maybe over here. But the problem with this area is that if I were to place a hunter here, it's a lot of space wasted by the lake and the mountains. Down here I cannot make anything because I do not have any housing, and that was my problem before because I expanded without housing. So that would be leaving this area up here. Now I seem to have noticed several families of deer living up here, and I think hunting would be plentiful. Have a hunter up here. So that is where I'm going to place this hunter. I still haven't used up a single herb for the last probably about 7 or 8 years, which is quite strange. I'm not sure, is it some sort of a bug, or is my population just in such a weird way with food and health that they do not require any medicine, or is it that I have to actually have a herbalist for them to go to a herbalist? I'm not really clear on that, so I will use one herbalist just to see if that actually does the trick and create an actual usage on the herbalist, because as you can see now suddenly the amount of store medicine goes down. So it would appear that unless you have a herbalist, your villagers cannot use herbs, even though the herbs are set in the inventory of a storage barn or a market, but they do not seem to know how to use up herbs unless there is a herbalist functioning, which is kinda strange. I'm not sure why the developer made it so. Maybe it was just some sort of an oversight. Although, if you do click on a villager, you could notice that he is going to say that he is going to a herbalist, is visiting the herbalist, see, because his health is at 3 hearts. But then why would the herbs be going to a storage barn or a market if they're used at the herbalist? That's the part that I'm not really clear on. And you can see now, instead of having 3 hearts after visiting the herbalist, the citizen has 3.5 hearts. So his health increased by visiting the herbalist, even though the herbs are the ones that are supposed to somehow heal the villagers, but the herbs are not at the herbalist, but at the storage barns and the market. So yeah, something that I'm not quite sure why does it work like that. But as I was saying, I needed this hunting cabin to be built. Now I do have only 1 laborer and no builders, and I'm not sure do I even have the resources. Well, the logs I do have, the stone I do have, so I just need to take a miner away from the mine and send him to become a builder. For now I'm okay with both firewood and food. The herbalist should help out with the health of my villagers. But the thing that slows me down the most is having students. Those 7 years they spend learning is a lot of time considering how few adults I have. And now I have 30 children for the 47 adults that I have. I think I saw somebody dying of old age. So one of these homes that I opened up, I think it was this one. There was a person here, very old, 70 plus or so, and now I have 2 young people living here. So that's what you want. You want young people living in homes and try and push the old folks out of the homes. Maybe I could even build a boarding house and then have the old villagers go to a boarding house where they could die because they're not making babies, and the boarding house is supposed to not allow making babies, and have these regular baby making couples live in the homes. So that's something that I will be definitely testing out if I ever manage to build a boarding house here. And I would advise you to test that out, and you can tell me how it went. So I don't have any laborers because my gatherer died. No, my gatherer died and I don't have any laborers. But before that I had lost 1 gatherer and I'm down 2 gatherers now. Oh, I definitely need to switch fishermen for gatherers. I don't really need that much stone anymore, so I can stop stone cutting. Send one of my villagers to be a fisherman and leave one as a laborer. And considering that a few of these guys have probably grown in age and finished their education, they might need a home to live with somebody of their age and have babies. Let's see. Still a lot of homes with only 1 person living in them. That's very annoying. And the biggest problem is if they are mostly males instead of being... Oh crap. Did I not... I allowed myself a builder? Yet I designated buildings to be torn down, so it could be that he's tearing down buildings instead of building the hunting cabin. Oh, it's a good thing I realized this in time. Definitely need to increase the priority on the hunting cabin and not allow the builders to start tearing down homes. So yeah, not only are these villagers that live by themselves in these homes stopping me from having enough food for everybody because they're stockpiling food just for themselves as well as firewood, they're also stopping me from building any buildings if I'm using this tool, demolish tool, to stop them from living by themselves. And if I turn on a builder, as you just saw, he starts to demolish the buildings, which I don't want. I just want to try and force the old folks to live with somebody their own age and not live by themselves. So yeah, I'm in deep doo-doo because of my earlier starvation. Let's see, did the increased priority do anything? Well, no, he's still not going there to build a hunting cabin, but he did manage to destroy the... Actually, he didn't destroy it, wooden house to a stone house. So if I want anything new built, I'm going to have to stop demolishing my housing, which is going to invite the old folks to live by themselves. But hopefully, considering the fact that I have moved them to live with each other, 2 old folks to live in the same home, maybe I can now safely stop these homes from being demolished and open them up for new families. The hunting cabin has enough stone to be built, it just requires a builder to go and build it. So let's give myself 3 builders, although I should probably get more fishermen, make sure my food is constantly tipped off to the max. I don't want a repetition of my starvation. Well, I guess I could go to times 10 now, if I'm feeling lucky. The hunting cabin has been finished. Excellent. I can reduce the number of builders and increase the number of hunters. So my plan to have more leather for the tailor may come to fruition. I need to leave a few villagers at the mine to get some iron so that my tool supply will not run out. Finally, somebody became an adult, finished his education, and I will have to send him to the mines. As I look through my homes, I once again see a lot of homes where only one person is living in the home, and that annoys me greatly. But once again, I don't have anything in the build queue, so I might as well use the demolish tool and stop them from living alone in houses. Oops, that was an unfortunate misclick. So, get this fisherman to leave this home and go live with somebody else. You will notice that there is no icon up here that says that he is homeless, so it means that he definitely moved in with somebody. Same with this fisherman. Only this time I have to use the remove structure. Now he is homeless and we can follow whether or not he's going to go and move in with somebody. A student at 18. How strange. Don't they become adults at 17? Wow, firewood low and I had 450 in early winter. Wow. So yeah, a lot of firewood is being used up. Yeah, I definitely need to see about getting rid of these homes. And you see that guy, that old guy, isn't homeless anymore, but that's probably because one of my people died and he moved into his house. In any event, this student should find a home somewhere else and not be alone in a house. A student at 19? What's up with this? I definitely need more miners since I'm running low on iron and therefore running low on tools. I do have one laborer free and I could send him to become a hunter. My limit should be at 8 hunters, not 7. My cemetery is filling up. I was able to just build the smallest one. It cost me 24 stone and I have 9 graves, which I have filled with 6 already. I do have lots more firewood. I'm not sure would I need even more, but considering how much I spent last winter, I may go up to 600. Logs I'm good at, so I might reduce the number of foresters a little bit and increase the number of miners to make sure I have enough iron for tools. My clothes situation went up a little bit and now it's down again. Well, that's unfortunate. It goes up again. This that was very interesting. It's moving pretty fast, probably because I'm playing at X10, so things are kind of moving in bulk and in larger numbers than they are if you're playing at a lower speed. I've got 2 more laborers and I should probably slow the things down a bit now that this has started moving faster once again. And you see, as soon as I unlock this home, I got a couple to move in. Now, one thing that I'm unsure of is whether or not do children and students carry items to their homes instead of their parents who are at work. I somehow think I read that somewhere, but I'm not entirely sure is it true. So here we go. Age 7, a child, not a student, is gathering food. And let's follow him. Oops, can't see the inventory in the follow mode. Yep, he's gonna gather food, and then he's gonna bring that food in this light basket, it's bigger than himself, to his home. And then he's gonna go and play. So yeah, it is a very nice technique to send the children to go to the market and pick up the food for their family instead of the adults who are needed at their jobs. It seems that I'm going to need another one, considering the first one cannot produce any herbs, which is quite strange. Well, where do I take away from? The miners? I suppose so. Hopefully this herbalist will have more luck collecting herbs than the other one is. So my health is up, my happiness seems to go up. 20 years old student. What? But I saw student become a teacher at 17. So strange. I am going to stop talking about that and concentrate on other things. So who could move out of their home? There are some students that could move out very soon as they become adults. And do I have an open and freed up house for them to move into? Does not look like it. I wish this one could finish, but getting the stone from the quarry is a slow business at only 2 stone cutters. So I should probably just open up one of these homes. And there we go, a laborer and a student moved in. And those are the ones that became an adult. Oh, I have 2 more adults, which means they will probably move right in here. There we go. Now you see, this is what I find so very strange. This guy called Rodrigobert, he's 16, and it just said that he became an adult and is now working as a laborer. But I saw students at 20 years old. So how is he a laborer at 16 and finished his education when I still have others who are at 20 years old and still being educated? So it doesn't seem to be an exact age when they stop being students after all. Quite strange indeed. In any event, ooh, I seem to have more of them becoming laborers. That's okay, just have to get more housing open. Or maybe I don't even have any more housing that's closed. So I definitely need to finish building this one. Well, I do have a lot of laborers, and maybe they could pick up this stone and get their home fixed up. It's not that far from this road, so they might actually be able to bring it to the construction site. Getting this stone from this quarry is a very slow process. Same goes for the mine. Very slowly. Plus, there is a lot of risking of life involved. How's my food? 7,000. That's excellent. Even though my number of villagers has increased just during this video, I think I got like 10 of them or even more. The amount of food that I have is still very good. Okay, laborers are there, but I also need some builders to finish this stone house. Could I try and build that boarding house? Oh, 45 stone and 100 logs. Logs I do have, but this stone would be quite a problem. And I do have a lot of iron now, so I could reduce the number of miners for some more stone cutters. Well, it would be quite interesting to see whether it would be possible to send the old folks to the boarding house to live out their lives so that they would not be taking up valuable space in the homes where my young ones can make babies. Now, I have seen some people mention that you might even be able to have children being born at a boarding house, but if I remember correctly, somebody said that if it's a temporary place to live, they won't have children there. Maybe it was a let's play or maybe I read it somewhere, so I do not think that they should, even though they might be at the moment having children at the boarding house. But is this a pipe dream? I mean, I need 45 stone to build a boarding house. Well, considering how much annoyed I am by the old folks taking up space, I may actually build a boarding house. I can keep the old folks over here. So more stone, try and find a deposit close by, stop stone cutting and just get it from a deposit. There is some stone, rather a lot of it over here. So by picking it up and getting it to the boarding house, this should work. I may even place a stockpile just right next to the boarding house in order to help with the collection of resources and using them for the boarding house. 6 laborers that don't really have any jobs anymore, so I can have, let's say, stone cutters, some miners, some more fishermen, although I did stop these guys from having that extra fisherman. But let's say I get that fisherman back. So 16 fishermen, 8 gatherers, 8 hunters. Those are my food producers. And as my population is growing, well, I did make that hunter's cabin up there, and I do have this gatherer down here, so I should start working on building some homes down here so that I can operate this forester's lodge, this gatherer's hut, a woodcutter that I'm going to need down here, and these 2 fisheries. So I need to build some homes down here for the new population. And now, as the boarding house finishes soon enough, I'm going to see about kicking my elderly folks to the boarding house. It's going to be an unofficial old folks home. They will still work and probably work as fishermen close by, because in Banished people work until they die and there is no pension. The blacksmith doesn't seem to be cutting it. Oh, I almost didn't notice this. I'm down 6 tools. So I definitely need a new blacksmith. Need 2 blacksmiths to be working simultaneously to keep up with the tool shortages. Good thing I noticed this on time. Although this wasn't really on time. I'm already down 7 tools, but I can still live with that. So where I'm at with the resources: logs plentiful, some stone, some iron. I could even make a new house, as the boarding house has been completed. So a new house, a stone house, down here. Now let's see about kicking out some elderly. I know this is probably something you would frown upon, but what can I say, they're just taking up space that the younger people could be using. These 2 fishermen are 63 and 61, and I do not believe they're gonna make any babies. So I'm going to kick them out and see whether they find their way to the boarding house. And they did. And now I'm going to open this wooden house. But the trick is, will they now go from the boarding house back to the house, or will... Oh, they did. Ah, damn it. I was afraid of this. I was hoping that some family would be able to move in before the elderly did. But do I even have anybody who would take their place in this home? Students, 21 fishermen, students. Here we go, 19 forester. So yeah, he could go here if the old folks were to stay at the boarding house. Damn it! God damn it! How are those old folks so fast? Bloody hell. Let's try this again. Maybe I have an idea. How about I kick this family out and they're probably gonna end up in the boarding house, and now I open this house up. Aw, oh, come on, guys, seriously, stay in the fucking boarding house. Well, I did something. I moved these two in a new house, although these guys are now stuck in this home instead of the old folks. Well, let's kick them out and kick them out at the same time. And then open up the boarding house for everybody. And then open the stone house and maybe the family will move in. Yes, they did. And where are the two old folks? Maybe the new house? Ah! Oh man! This is not gonna work out. Way too much micromanagement for very little result. I guess the best idea would be just don't get into this situation, please. Don't get in a situation that I've just gotten myself into. For something very stupid, and there's nothing that can be done, at least nothing that can easily be done about this. Well, definitely need more housing if I want these buildings down here to open up. A forester I don't really need yet, but a gatherer or a fisherman, why not? Let's get a gatherer going. Two gatherers down here. Well, before I start expanding again, I think I'm going to stop with this video here. Thank you all for watching and join me next time. Goodbye.